Welcome to this episode of our program Daily Debate. As usual, we will be discussing important topics. Tonight we'll be focusing on how Egypt gave priority to the file of Sinai and the developments in Sinai within the framework of the state's strategy to build a new republic. In this regard, the second phase of development projects in the northeast eastern governorate was kicked off. Over the past years. Egypt has been able to confront many challenges facing the peninsula, particularly terrorism and their threats in Sinai, and definitely Egypt has been able to eradicate terrorism. In parallel, there was this great strategy of developmental projects that has been ongoing in Sinai. Egypt has always believed that achieving development is a prime guarantor of sustaining stability and completely eliminating any terrorism attempts. This will be focusing on in our episode tonight. Before we delve into our discussion, let me first have a quick look on the top stories of the day. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Monday hailed strategic cooperation relation with Hungary, saying they are rooted historically in political, economic and cultural dimensions. The remark was made as the president received Hungarian President Katalin Novak at the Ittihadiyya Palace in Cairo, where an official reception was held. For her part, the Hungarian guest thanked continuous development of the Egyptian-Hungarian relations, calling for more bilateral cooperation. Presidential spokesman Councillor Ahmed Fahmy said talks between the two presidents discussed forwarding cooperation in industry, transport, travel and communication sectors. Both sides agreed over the need for working for a truce, denouncing targeting civilians, rejecting forced evacuations and ensuring the conflict does not extend to other regions. Over the Ukrainian crisis, the two presidents called for an active international role to defuse the crisis. Back to our top stories, and parliamentarian speaker Hanafi Gebali hailed the current truce in Gaza as he called for its extension, reiterating Egypt's stance regarding rejection of forced displacement of Palestinians from Gaza and the necessity of allowing humanitarian aid into the Strip. Gebali made the statements during his meeting with Hungarian President Katalin Novak. On her part, Novak hailed Egypt's efforts in reaching a truce in the Gaza Strip. And Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry participated on Monday at a Union for the Mediterranean Ministerial Forum in Barcelona, along an Arab Islamic Ministerial Committee tasked with implementing Arab-Muslim Summit resolutions over the Israeli war in the Gaza Strip. This year's forum is dedicated to discussing the situation in the besieged and war-torn Palestinian enclave. The ministerial roundtable, organized by Union for the Mediterranean, is entitled Developments in Israel and Palestine, Gaza and the Region. Shoukry will also travel to New York on Tuesday to join other committee members in a briefing session held by the UN Security Council on the situation in the Middle East. Jordan's Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi was also participating in the Forum for the Union of the Mediterranean in Barcelona. For his part, he said that the work for a two-state solution must begin with ensuring an end to this brutal aggression. Safadi added that Israel must know that it cannot force another population's transfer out of Gaza. The EU's top foreign policy official, Josep Borrell, called for an extension of the truce in the Gaza Strip, which is due to end on Tuesday. And finally, a humanitarian pause in fighting between Israel and Hamas was extended 2 days as an initial 4-day truce in Gaza was set to expire. Qatar announced Monday that as part of the ongoing mediation, an agreement has been reached to extend the humanitarian truce for an additional 2 days in the Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, Diya Rashwan, the head of Egypt's State Information Service, said the extension would include the release of 20 Israeli hostages from among those seized by Hamas on October the 7th. Rashwan added that in exchange, 60 Palestinian prisoners held in the Israeli jails would be freed. And as we are talking right now in this episode, hostages are being delivered or are being released by Hamas, and a security delegation or an Egyptian security delegation has headed already to the Gaza Strip in order to receive those hostages and deliver them to the other side. Before we delve into our discussion, let me first have this quick report. And on behalf of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli kicked off the second phase of development projects in the northeastern governorate in Sinai. More in the following reports.